Thanks, Brian. Doesn't Brian play the piano beautifully? There's magic that come from those fingers. Thank you, Brian. Good morning. My name's Ann Hudgens, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of the Unity Council. And so I typically do announcements before services. And one of our announcements today is that there's a council meeting this afternoon, right after the service, if you're interested. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Fort Collins. We're so glad you're here. We have a serious treat involved in our service today. We've got Michael Gornik from Polestar Community, who is our speaker today, and our own John Magny and his musical team that are doing the music, and Kathy Malloy, John's wife, is doing the reading. So, but I've watched over email as the two groups have blended themselves together to create this extravaganza that's going to happen before our eyes today. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen. We've got lots of folks out there today from the Polestar community. So if you identify as a Polestar kind of person, would you raise your hand? And we'll just wave to you. Thanks for coming. You are absolutely welcome to have a Unity of Fort Collins welcome packet. And so if you are new of any kind and would like a welcome packet plunked in your hand, we like to do that. So if anybody wants a welcome packet, raise your hand and you will find one in there. Lovely. Welcome also to our online group. Lots of churches are trying to do stuff online, but we actually have a large group of people that watch our services real time and afterwards. So it's we have a thriving online community, including my sister from Medford, Oregon. Hi, Robin. Hi, Robin. So she called us a couple of days ago, and she said, "What do I need to do to join?" And I said, "Click the button. That's it. There's no, what if I want to be a member?" Click the button and tell us you're a member. Or not. Just if you feel like you're a member in your heart, you are one. So there's not many hoops to jump to become a member of Unity Fort Collins. I have a bunch of announcements this morning. The lunch bunch will meet at the Island Grill after the service. Family Fun Nights return on January 20th. Sharon, would you come talk about prayer chaplain training? And Mike Hawes, would you stand in line? And Leanne, come stand in line. We'll just get these announcements going.
Good morning. Next Saturday, we're doing chaplain training. Now, if that just makes you kind of freeze and say you can't do it, could never pray with somebody, oh, not me, well, you come, because it is a marvelous program. How many here have a chaplain who call? Yeah. It binds us together. I just came from a 4-day chaplain retreat in California. I did not have to swim home. And it's 3 other women and myself, and we have been chaplains to each other for 40 years. And it is a huge blessing in my life. When you take the prayer chaplain training, you step out of your comfort zone and learn how to hold other people in your heart. You do not have to make the commitment to come. Come and let me sell you. And it will also be on the 28th, kind of for people who can't make next Saturday, but also for people who want to practice more. So a sign-up sheet's going to go around, and I really encourage you to stretch and join. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Mike Hawes.
So in 2015, Unity, up higher? Okay, very good. In 2015, Unity adopted a community in Guatemala, La Bendición, and we worked with Trees Water People. They're a local nonprofit to connect with them, and the goal is to have a long-term relationship with them, and we have. COVID was obviously a break in that, but I've been there 6 times and just came back in November from another trip, our first post-COVID trip. And what we want to do with them is basically have a community, a long-distance community. We're getting ready for another trip at the end of this year, probably in November timeframe. And if you are interested, there is going to be a meeting, not this Monday, but next Monday at 7, and it'll be right here in the sanctuary. And we'll tell you about all the projects we've been doing, we'll tell you about the latest items, and what it might be like to go to Guatemala and be with just a wonderful group of people in La Bendición. So I hope you'll join us. Thanks.
Leanne.
Good morning, folks. Some of you may have read about this in the last newsletter. UWM, that's Unity Worldwide Ministries, or as I call them, the mothership, has a program called Earth Care that's been around for years, and we actually here at Unity of Fort Collins have embraced a lot of the values of that program, but we're going to formally adopt an Earth Care team here, a green team, and a couple of us from the facilities group have already committed to being on that team, and we're looking for some other folks to join us. So what we'll be doing is setting some intentions and doing some visioning and planning, coming up with some ideas for more ways that we can embrace sustainability and being good stewards of this beautiful piece of property that we have, and helping other people in the community come to enjoy it. We'll probably be reaching out into the larger community to form some partnerships at some point too. So I'm not going to pass a clipboard, but if you're interested in that, please let me know. You can talk to me here at church, or you can find my phone number. I think it's in the newsletter. So thanks, folks.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who helped with the grand opening of our bookstore last week, and it was really a success. And the welcome committee was the participants who put it together, so big, grateful hug to all of them. All I wanted to tell you is here is another opportunity. Here at Unity, we have so many wonderful opportunities to participate, to volunteer. So I'm going to send around a clipboard. If you're interested in helping in the bookstore, it's very simple. We've got all the procedures written up, and we also will pair you with someone who already is experienced. So if you're interested, please sign up. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, welcome team. I had a person asked if you have to buy a book to have the coffee. And they are unpaired. The coffee stands alone, and you are welcome to it. Enjoy. One last announcement. If you'll look in the back over here, you see a trailer. Jim and Sharon and Julie and I were here on Tuesday and met a man who was having some hard times, kind of in a crisis situation. He is parked there until Wednesday. It's not a permanent fixture, and so we just had it in our heart to help him, and so we'll bless him and he'll move on Wednesday. All right. Well, I can't wait. Let's get going. Let's join in our centering prayer. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Yay.
Hello, good morning. All right, I got some friends backstage. Maybe when they hear this, they might come out and join me. I'm hoping. We're going to start with a song that I wrote specially for this day, this service. It's called When We Gather Together. We got Peaches Embry over here, and we got Tim Cook, and we got Steve Amadei joining. And we'd love you to sing along if you get the notion. There's going to be 3 verses here in which we gather together. The first one, we're going to gather together in the house of love. I was in the wrong key. Can we stop right here and see if everybody would help us clap? There you go. Well, I wake up on Sunday when the sun is dawning, gather together in the house of love, and the early bird is singing, he's greeting the morning. Gather together in the house of love. I throw on a shirt and I hurry on down. Gather together in the house of love, to that Unity Church on the edge of town. When we gather together in the house of love. Oh, when we gather together, gather together, gather together in the house of love. Gather together, gather together, gather together in the house of love. Oh, when we gather together, oh, we gather together in the house of love. We gather together, gather together, gather together in the house of love. Now we're gonna gather together in a song of joy, all right? So I walk in as the church band beginning a song. When we gather together in the song of joy, and all the people start singing along. This when we gather together in a song of joy. Now someone started tapping on the back of my church seat. When we gather together in a song of joy. And someone started clapping just to keep in the backbeat. When we gather together in a song of joy. Oh, when we gather together, gather together, gather together in a song of joy. Gather together, gather together, gather together in a song of joy. Oh, when we gather together, gather together in a song of joy. Gather together, gather together, gather together in a song of joy. to do one more verse here where we gather together in the heart of God, all right? Oh, my Lord, what a joyful day when we gather together in the heart of God. When love blows the clouds of fear all away. When we gather together in the heart of God. Oh, now people ain't no stopping us now. When we gather together in the heart of God. Oh, ain't nobody hold my spirit down. When we gather together in the heart of God. Oh, when we gather together, gather together, gather together in the heart of God. Gather together, gather together, gather together. Let's break it down, yes, y'all. Oh, when we gather together, gather together, gather together in the heart of God. Gather together, gather together, gather together in the heart of God. One more. Gather together, gather together, gather together in the heart of God. Thank you. World debut of that song, yeah. Oh, I sure appreciate that. We got a reading here by Kathy.
Good morning, everyone. This reading is from a section of the Course in Miracles called The Forgotten Song. Listen and try to think if you remember what we will speak of now.
You know the ancient song, and you know it well. You know the ancient song, and you know it well.
Listen. Perhaps you catch a hint of an ancient state not quite forgotten, dim perhaps, and yet not altogether unfamiliar. Like a song whose name is long forgotten, and the circumstances in which you heard completely unremembered. Not the whole song has stayed with you, but just a little wisp of melody, attached not to a person or a place or anything particular. But you remember, from just this little part, how lovely was that song. How wonderful the setting where you heard it, and how you loved those who were there and listened with you. The notes are nothing, yet you have kept them with you, not for themselves, but as a soft reminder of what would make you weep if you remembered how dear it was to you. You could remember, yet you are afraid, believing you would lose the world you learned since then. And yet you know that nothing in this world you learned is half so dear as this. Listen and see if you remember an ancient song you knew so long ago and held more dear than any melody you taught yourself to cherish since. Beyond the body, beyond the sun and stars, past everything you see and yet somehow familiar, is an arc of golden light that stretches as you look into a great and shining circle, and all the circle fills with light before your eyes. Here is the memory of who you are, and joined to all, as surely as all is joined to you. Accept the vision that can show you this. You know the ancient song and know it well. Nothing will ever be as dear to you as is this ancient hymn of love the child of God sings to his Father still. What is a miracle but this remembering? And who is there in whom this memory lies not? The light in one awakens it in all. And when you see it in your brother, you are remembering for everyone. Listen.
You know the ancient song, and you know it well. You know the ancient song, and you know it well. You know the ancient song, and you know it well. You know the ancient song, and you know it well. Thank you, Kathy. We're going to do a song here. This is a light of mine, which we do later when we bring the kids out. But we're going to do another version of it here. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shine, here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, here on the corner of Lines and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You ready to sing one, Peaches? Oh, yeah. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let me do one here. All through January, I'm gonna let it shine. All through 2023, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let my soul free. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. We haven't heard from Steve yet. Where I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. You know, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. All right, let it shine. It's y'all turn right now. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Little light of mine, every day now. I'm gonna let it shine 24/7. This little light of mine, make it by the Lord now. I'm gonna One more. One more. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine one more time. Let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let it shine, let it shine. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And thanks for warming up the crowd here. Boy, that's a hard act to follow. Beautiful music, though. So welcome, everyone, and thanks for welcoming us, our Polestar community here. As some of you know, our story a little bit, we are volcanic refugees. We were banished from the big island of Hawaii by Madame Pele, who visited our community there back in 2018. And so we're refugees in a way. There's I was reading up on it. There's about 1% of the planet right now is dislocated. So that's something, give you a lot of compassion for just, it's over 100 million people right now. So it's just something to think about and remember. And thank you for providing space for someone who is also dislocated. That's very beautiful. But I'm very happy to be here today. Our title is Adventures in Self-Realization, The Path of Raja Yoga. So I wanted to tell you just a little bit about Yogananda's path. How many here are aware of Paramhansa Yogananda, maybe read a book or two? Okay, many, but not all. And Yogananda came to America in 1920. And he was not the first yogi to come to America, but he was one of the first, and he was the very first to spend most of his life here. So he really was responsible for beginning this amazing intercultural connection we've had now between East and West. And at that time, you can imagine arriving in 1920 when a dark-skinned man and how much prejudice there was, but he came and he shared the message of yoga. And so I'm going to share a little bit about what that message was and what Raja Yoga is. A friend of mine told me a story many years ago. This was before I knew anything about Raja Yoga, but he said he went to a presentation on Raja Yoga. And this was kind of an academic setting, so people are sitting in the audience and, in chairs, and there's a desk in front like you would see in a classroom. And all the students were assembled there, and somebody walked in and sat on the desk and went into lotus posture and closed his eyes, and 5 minutes went by, and 15 minutes went by, and a half an hour went by. Finally, 45 minutes went by. All the students are looking at each other like, what is this about? And then he came out of lotus posture and then left. So that was the presentation of Raja Yoga. And I'm not sure the presentation I'm giving today will be any more eloquent. Because really, it is about, Raja Yoga is about silence. It is about being inside. It is about going within and finding that truth within ourselves. If we find it there, if we can't find it there, we won't find it anywhere else. And if we find it there, we can find it everywhere else. So that's a wonderful thing to remember. And I think that was looking back, oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. I think that's a very powerful presentation of what yoga is. Now, I was raised Catholic, so, and there were many things about that tradition, as Swami Vivekananda has said. It is a blessing to be born into a religion, but a curse to die in one. And I think there's a great message there, because we have to transcend, we have to go beyond the outer forms of organization or ritual or norms, and we have to find that spirit, that unique expression of spirit that is our soul. And so after 12 years of Catholic schooling, I considered myself an atheist, which I don't think was really true, in the sense that I was still seeking, I was still looking. But as far as I understood God or spirit or the spiritual things, I did not, I could not relate to it in the way it was presented. When I stumbled over the path of Raja Yoga, I really found some essential things that helped me not only to orient myself to my own inner process of unfoldment, but also to recognize that process in many different traditions. And I think that's a real gift to come to that place where you no longer separate yourself from anyone else, what to speak of politics, but in their own search, their own expression of their spirituality and their unique soul. So I'm going to share just a few things about the path of Raja Yoga. So first we'll start with a definition. Yoga, as many of you may know, means union. So the classic way to think of it is we have this wave of human life, this wave of human consciousness, and we have this connecting point with the ocean of consciousness, with the ocean of spirit. And so we all have that, and we all have a direct path to that inner knowing. And that union with the wave and the ocean is what yoga is. And then the word Raja means royal or kingly. So it's the royal path of that union of the soul and the spirit. Now there are three main branches of yoga, and they have to do with the three main qualities of our humanness, or three main qualities, I should say, and they are our heart, our mind, and our will. And these paths of yoga are organized around those three essential things. Now, the path of the heart is called bhakti yoga. So that bhakti yoga is the yoga of love, of devotion. And we see this expressed in many different traditions. Some of the techniques of bhakti yoga are chanting, sacred music, like we just had here. The paradigm of a bhakti yogi is that you take an image of divinity and you, through the power of feeling, through the power of love, you become one with that image. So a bhakti yogi uses that sort of paradigm of separation of, lover and beloved, but through love attains union with that. So that's the path of bhakti yoga, the yoga of feeling. The second one is the path of jnana yoga, and that's the path of the mind. I always think this is the most difficult yoga because the mind is so tricksy. We can get in all kinds of loops with our mental understanding, and so, for some of us, that's just how we're wired. We approach reality through the mind, and some of the techniques of a jnana yogi would be things like journaling, introspection, constantly separating that which is real from that which is unreal. So that's sort of the approach of a jnana yogi. And then the last one is karma yoga. And karma, as many of you will know, simply means action. So in the paradigm of a karma yogi, we're using our actions to find that connecting point, that yoga, that oneness. And so the basic strategy for this is to not be attached to the fruits of your actions. To, how can you act in such a way that that action is liberating? Well, that is how you become, it's basically selfless service. By serving others, you ascend from the smaller self to the larger self. So those are the three main paths of yoga. You probably noticed that Hatha yoga isn't one of them. In America, we've really adopted Hatha yoga as the thing about yoga. But really, it's and it's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing for health and vitality and et cetera. But it is really, by serious spiritual aspirants, not considered essential or extremely important either. Now, the way each of us are wired on this planet, we most likely have a bias of one of these three types of orientations to the world. So this is something you can ask yourself, am I a feeling person primarily? Am I a thinking person primarily? Or am I an acting person primarily? It's just something useful to know about yourself, because if that's your strength, if that's your orientation or your essential bias, as Yogananda calls it, you can use those techniques of yoga to attain union, to attain spiritual knowledge. So of course they're all blended together, and most of us probably have a major and a minor. We major in action, but we minor in feeling, or we major in thinking and mental energy. And it's fun to sort of think of your friends this way too. I had a friend once who, he admitted to me, and he's very mental, he admitted to me that he recognized vehicles on the road. We lived in a community where people drove their cars, so you got to know everybody's car. They were driving by you, and he would recognize their car by the license plate number. So it just revealed something about his mind, and he was very much that way, So it's something useful to consider and think about. The main point I want to make today is the one I started with, which is really about meditation. And we're going to have a little meditation here in a moment. The illusion of the world and the tendency of the mind to be restless and create whole universes of illusion and delusion is very powerful. When we sit in silence, just deep, deep, deep silence, we come to know something about ourselves and something about reality that is really hard to know in any other way. If the mind just keeps pounding in its restlessness and its engagement with the senses, it's hard to ever experience that. So meditation is really the thing that grounds all the different yoga practices and makes them deep and fruitful. A very feeling person can become overly emotional. A very thinking person can get in conundrums of circular thought. A person who serves all the time, we used to say, serve till you drop. Who goes overboard on service. Meditation balances that and makes your service deep and powerful. So meditation is really at the core of Raja Yoga. And we're going to, like I said, meditate together here in a moment. I wanted to close because it is the new year, and it's that time when we're all thinking about starting anew. It's a great time to introspect and think about how we can improve our lives and improve the lives of those around us. This is a favorite poem from Yogananda called The Garden of the New Year. So you can meditate on these words a little bit as I read them. The echoes of last year, its sorrow and laughter, have died away. The song voice of the new year, encouraging, hope imparting, is chanting, refashion life ideally. Abandon the weeds of old worries from the forsaken garden of the past. Garner only seeds of joys and achievements, hopes, good actions and thoughts, all noble desires. Sow in the fresh soil of each new day those valiant seeds. Water and tend them until your life is fragrant with rare flowering qualities. The new year whispers, awaken your habit-dulled spirit to zestful new effort. Rest not till the eternal freedom is won and ever-pursuing karma outwitted. With joy enlivened, unendingly united mind, let us all dance forward, hand in hand, to reach the halcyon home, whence we shall wander no more. Thank you. And I think we're going to do a little chant now. We're going to do a little chant together, and this is part of the path of Bhakti Yoga, chanting. And generally speaking, the chants are simple and repetitive. And the technique of chanting is to think of the words, but especially the vibration, the feeling, and with each repetition, take it deeper and deeper. Yes, you can take that. Okay, very simple words. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. let's all sit up straight and close our eyes. Quickly scan the body for any tension you may be unconsciously holding. Consciously relaxing the feet, calves, thighs, hips, abdomen, stomach. Relax the forearms and upper arms, chest, neck, your face. Your body is completely relaxed now. Now any mental tension you might be holding, release it. Worries from the past, concerns for the future, let them go. Allowing yourself to become fully present, fully awake, fully aware in this moment. With eyes closed, gently lift the gaze upward and inward to the point between the eyebrows, the spiritual eye. Gathering all the energy from your heart, drawing it up the spine to the base of the skull. Visualize that energy moving through the brain and to the forehead of the spiritual eye, focusing all your life force there. Now calling your attention to the breath. Just be present for this miracle of life. Each inhalation, each exhalation. Not controlling it, just observing it. When you notice your mind has wandered, just bring it back. This is the practice of meditation. Returning again and again to the point of focus. Going deeper and deeper into stillness. Peace. Amen.
So thank you for that, Michael. Yes, we have one and the same heart song, don't we? And now we express that same song through our love, through our offering. So I'd like the ushers to come forward if they would. So let's join together in our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
All right, we're going to do, for the offertory, a song called Higher and Higher. We're not talking about the check that you write, but that would be all right. So your love keeps lifting me higher. We're talking about capital L, love. The kind of love that makes the flowers in the garden that Michael was talking about grow higher and higher. Let's all sing this chorus together here. It goes like this. Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher, higher, higher. Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher, higher, higher. Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher, higher, higher. Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher. All right, Peaches, what you say?
Your love keeps lifting me higher, and I am lifted before. Keep it up with my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. Because
Your love keeps lifting me,
don't lift me
keeps lifting me,
higher,
lifting me higher and higher, higher. Love keeps lifting me, keep on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher.
I was downhearted. Disappointment was my only friend. Then you came and it soon departed. And you know it never showed its face again.
Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher and higher, higher. Your love keeps lifting me, keep on lifting me, lifting me higher. All right, now we'll do the horn part.
Once was downhearted. People I just thought was my place. When I opened up my heart to the presence of your love, that smile returned to my face.
Your love keeps lifting me,
So lifted me
lifting me,
higher.
lifting me higher and higher, higher. Your love keeps lifting me,
So lifted me
right. You know what to do now. You know what to do. I said your love keeps lifting me. Love keeps lifting me, lifting me higher, higher, higher.
Oh, yes, that love.
Your love keeps lifting me. Love keeps lifting me,
Keep on
lifting me higher, higher, higher.
Oh, yes, that
Your love keeps lifting
love. Don't lift me.
higher.
Lift me higher, higher, higher.
Your love,
Your love keeps lifting me.
oh, keep on lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. One more time now. Your love keeps lifting me,
Love keeps
lifting me, lifting me higher and higher.
higher.
Your love keeps lifting me, keeps lifting me, lifting me higher,
Higher, higher.
Say your love keeps lifting me. Love keeps lifting me, lifting me higher, higher, higher. One more time. Your love keeps lifting me, keep lifting me, lifting me higher and higher. So much higher. We're going to have Brian take over. And I think, is that right? The kids come in now?
Wow. From the depths of meditation with Michael Gornik to the, I don't know what to call it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we have a whole group of little lights gathered at the back. Come on up, kids. Come on up. Here about what you experienced today?
Today we talked about prayers and we made these things so if we're praying in our rooms, we can just put this up on our door. Yeah, today we did talk about prayers and yeah.
Hi. Because it was just me and this other kid. He doesn't want to talk. But we kind of just got into our personal lives, kind of. We just talked about what we like and what we don't like, and stuff like that.
Okay. You can go and find your parents, or okay, thank you. And Michael, I think we got one other thing with us today.
Okay, we're going to teach you one more chant. This is a Hawaiian chant we love to share. And I'll say the words up there. You can read them up there. E malama I ka heau. E malama I ka heau. E malama pono I ka heau. E malama pono I ka heau. And very liberal translation, earth and sky, sea and stone, hold this land in sacredness. We were doing A, right? hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea. Earth and sky, sea and stone, hold this land in sacredness. Earth and sky, sea and stone, hold this land in sacredness. E malama I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea. Earth and sky, sea and stone, hold this land in sacredness. Earth and sky, sea and stone, hold this land in sacredness. E malama I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama I ka hea, e malama pono I ka hea.
So thank you, Michael and the Polestar community. Thank you for being with us. And of course, I also want to thank John Magny and his group too. So let's circle up for our traditional unity closing. I'm going to ask Alice Palmatier. Alice, would you come up here, please? The reason I'm asking Alice to come to the center of our circle today is she's leaving us. She's moving to Pennsylvania. So Alice, even as you've chosen to separate from us physically, we want you to know that the circle of love surrounds you all. Thank you for being part of this community, our laughing lady. Thank you. So together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.